From Wall Street to Main Street, this is Lalate.
It's a big early morning of early mornings, Lalate, with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check updated 2021. In this recording, we go over the breaking news with Pelosi's comments and Jalapal and Bernie's comments overnight. It's all brand new with a potential deal with the moderate Democrats that has to deal with fossils. Yeah, those old things like dinosaurs. I got all the latest details on this recording. Whoa, where did this one come from? Meantime, $3.5 trillion of checks have been passed in this $3.5 trillion recon. We'll go over each of these clusters of checks, including hazard pay, home repairs, and also money for seniors. Meantime, checks are being proposed to be added, like $25,000 direct to you, like $250 billion to seniors from Bob Casey, Senator Bob Casey. And then an additional massive MSC, monthly stimulus checks, being proposed. And then out of nowhere, additional items that are now being talked about that no one saw coming. We have the latest statements from also the president and also Chuck Schumer saying that he's going to insert a stimulus check provision. We have the latest part of the negotiations with that recon getting very close in less than the last 24 hours. Now Nancy Pelosi saying they're going to get it done because they have to get it done. With the date looming, I have all incredible details you haven't heard until this morning. It's all brand new, and it's all starting right now because the toast is toasted, the butter is buttering, and the breaking news is starting right here, right now, as Early Mornings LA begins. I hope you're having a beautiful morning wherever you tuning in from. It's a big day with so much across the board. It was a big news cycle late last night and early this morning. Pelosi speaking about your recon, Bernie talking about your recon, Jalapal talking about the recon, even a potential deal with Joe Manchin talking about the recon. Whoa, where did this come from? Then we have more details about COLA. Your benefits are going up. New details about student loan debt forgiveness. Wow. We have a big surprise as more money coming out from third stimulus, more money from fifth stimulus that will or won't include money for seniors. I have the latest details on that. That is a very interesting surprise. Then we have the big cash infusions that are being proposed to be added to that $3.5 trillion recon that by itself pays viewers of this channel about $15,000. Well, $25,000 on top of that. Then money for MSCs, and then money for seniors from Bob Casey. We're just getting started. We got more money as well. And then out of nowhere came that incredible message you saw late last night on Evenings LA as a chief of staff to the number one senator in the entire recon equation says your advocacy is now the biggest in this country, with LA's advocacy and you reaching over 3 million viewers calling in to that senator's office. I have all those details and more as Early Mornings LA starts right now. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video and consider becoming a member. Let's go right to the first cluster of three clusters of checks in this $3.5 trillion recon that passed. The recon is for everyone. Single individuals, married couples, SSI, SSDI, red states, blue states. It's nationwide. And these checks these clusters collectively will pay you about $15,000. First cluster includes hazard pay and about $4,000 of elder care. Let me go over all the incredible details of what's in this first cluster. Hazard pay, they're going to broaden the earned income tax credit so more people are qualified for the money, and then increase the amount of money across the board. $4,000 of elder care will be in there as well, and then $4,000 to care for a young child. College students will get grants, universities grants, and then grants with the Pels made tax-free. $51,000 of monthly stimulus checks will get in there as well. Wow, that is a big surprise. And how that calculates, it's a CTC. The child tax credit broadened up to $300 every month, every year for up to 18 years if you're a low-income family. That is a massive $51,000 a child. Then they got money in there for home repairs. Yes, if you live in a low-income community, The federal government will give you free money to make those home repairs. And they got money for electric bikes, electric cars, all electric, and all U.S. auto manufactured. First, 15% of the purchase price of a new electric bike, $7,500 for a new electric vehicle, and then a little bit more if it's for business use. That's the first cluster. Second, we'll go to the second cluster. But here we go. $25,000 being proposed to be added to that recon on top of each of these three clusters. And what is that $25,000 for? It's from your incredible, illustrious legislator from Los Angeles, Maxine Waters. $25,000 for the purchase price of a new home. This is huge, and the eligibility would be for new home buyers. Potentially, how this will work would be the following. While you're in escrow about to close for the house, the federal government will pay $25,000 to the seller, so that reduces how much you have to pay for the home. Wow. That is the first add-on you're going to see in this video of what's being proposed to be added to the recon. Let's go to the second cluster of checks. And remember, these clusters add up to about $15,000. And it's just life in general. It's not pandemic related. And this second cluster includes more home repairs and paid leave, paid family leave, paid medical leave. Family leave, you have to stay home because because your wife is pregnant. Pay medical leave, you have to stay home because your son broke his leg. There's a lot of money. $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. $800 a week if you make $35,000 or more per year. $15,000 annual salary, that would be $400 a week. Money for childcare programs, household tax credits, and then money for seniors like dental, which are included also in the third cluster. And then they got into the second cluster, other checks for the home. Those are weatherizing your home. Definitely need to weatherize your home. You never know what's on the roof. That's why you have to weatherize it. Like there may be moderate Democrats on the roof. As I always say, keep the moderate Democrats out of the House, and wherever possible, keep the moderate Democrats out of the Senate. There we go. They also got in the second cluster of checks new money for free community college and pre-kindergarten across the board. What is the House doing? What is the Senate doing? What are they doing about the recon? Well, a lot of breaking news late last night as Pelosi was on a road trip talking about the recon. And boy, I'm very excited. I have not seen Pelosi so emphatic about getting the recon done in a long time. Pelosi said, central to the recon is the climate part of this bill, and there's no choice. We're going to make this decision. We have to do it in terms of the climate provisions. The recon will get done because the recon must get done. That's Pelosi talking. Wow, that's not Bernie, that's Pelosi. Whoa, I'm very excited. I have not heard so as much a cheerleader for the recon in a while, like what she said yesterday. She said, this is our moment. We have it in there, and it's the rest of our goals, and we can get it done. Does Pelosi have a potential deal in the works with the moderate Democrats? Someone does, because a fascinating report buried in an article yesterday says some of the progressives and the White House have potentially found a deal with the moderates. What's going on? Well, the deal may center around climate. And every time I say climate, people think I'm talking about, is it sunny or is it overcast? No, that's not climate. Climate is referring to basically clean energy, coal and energy and mining and things like that. And so guess which senator has a lot of fossil fuel producers in his state that he's looking to have them do financially quite well. Those businesses in the state. Joe Manchin, West Virginia. And now the legislators have a brilliant idea to take one of the provisions of the $3.5 trillion, which has already been passed, not allocating your money over to someone else. This is money already dedicated for climate, to just change the wording so that it would make it easier for coal and natural gas power plants to receive some of the money for financial incentives for clean energy, which is a possible big boom for fossil fuel providers in the state of West Virginia and Joe Manchin. Now, if you've been with this channel for the last week, this makes a lot of sense because remember, Joe Manchin has an issue with how the climate is phrased in the recon, and Kristen Sinema has an issue about how the prescription medication is phrased. Wow, this might be the deal that we've been waiting for. Meantime, out of nowhere, Bob Casey surprised us all. Senator Bob Casey. He's a 61-year-old Democrat from Pennsylvania, and guess what? He's proposing the second add-on to the recon, which is $250 billion of states for you if you're on disability or a senior. What is it? It's ramping up more Medicare benefits so you get more benefits at home, like home health care. He sees this as a double benefit, not directly only for you, but also your children that may have to stay home from the workplace and not work because they have to care for you because home health care is too expensive. Cheaper for the kid to stay home and take care of you. Now, the state would pay for the bill and have a licensed professional come in and take care of you, and the son and daughter can go into the workforce and eliminate the labor shortage. This is after the new jobless claim numbers came in yesterday, and they were the best since this channel has existed. This channel started where it's 250,000 new jobless claims pre-pandemic, and then right after the pandemic started, it was 1.2 million claims. It was over 1 million for 27 weeks of this channel. I can't believe that I'm now reporting the new jobless claims last week were the lowest ever since this channel has existed, 290,000. So this is a big item for Senator Bob Casey to be adding to the recon. And this is for stimulus. I'm going to go over fifth stimulus, which has more money for seniors. But first, let's go to the third cluster checks, which are passed, that already has other items in there for seniors. And this one is also the workings of Bob Casey. So already passed in the third cluster are farming checks, checks for elections, checks for clean energy, checks for workers, checks for free school meals for all, checks, cheaper prescription medication, checks for free internet, checks for workers like independent contractors, and checks for seniors like dental, vision, hearing care, and lowering eligibility age for Medicare. In a world exclusive, I can now report to you where they're looking to drop that Medicare eligibility age from 65 to 60. And who's the guy behind it? Bob Casey, the 61-year-old from Pennsylvania. Wow, that's incredible, great news. So that is the second. Those are the three clusters that pay viewers of this channel about $15,000. Casey looking to add more money in there for seniors, for Medicare, and also people on disability. Maxine Waters looking to add $25,000 to buy new homes. And then come, of course, those monthly stimulus checks. Those monthly stimulus checks have gotten the support, of course, from Chuck Schumer, as you've seen on this channel for the last week. And Chuck Schumer told Debbie Applegate a week ago today, and told Donnie's wife the week before, that he's inserting a stimulus check provision in there. Let's go over how this all works out so you know sort of the procedural steps. It starts right now. We have a $3.5 trillion recon, not a bill. It's a package, sort of like pre-bill is what you would basically call it. And it's a subcommittee, passed on a House subcommittee several weeks ago. Bob Casey looking to add stuff in. We're looking to add our stimulus checks, IRS stimulus checks in. Maxine Waters looking to add the $25,000. A lot of people looking to add things in. When can they add them in? Before it becomes a bill on the House floor, or after it becomes a bill on the House floor, before it calls for a vote on the House floor. They want to make changes they can, the House members, before they call for a vote on the House floor. Pelosi said she was going to add it in there. Then the most important one is the Senate. The final 2 days of the entire process is called a vote-o-rama. I know it sounds like a 1970s disco song, but that's literally what it's called. The Senate vote-o-rama. It's a 2-day event at which the senators receive the House bill that may not have stuff in there or may not have enough of it in there. And then the senators can look at it and say, I want to change it. And they change it through what's called amendments. Those amendments are called for a vote one at a time. And who determines when they're called for a vote? Chuck Schumer. Who is in charge of the vote-o-rama? Chuck Schumer. Who determines what time and when is called for a vote for amendment? Chuck Schumer. And who wants to put the monthly stimulus check in there? Chuck Schumer. Now, you're hearing this for the first time on Early Mornings Lalate, and here is the graphic. The advocacy of this channel has now delivered over 3 million phone calls to Congress. It's the biggest platform anywhere in the United States, confirmed this week. This is a message from the chief of staff to the #1 senator in the recon to a viewer of this channel yesterday. The message is the following. Congress now has in total, between congressional and senatorial offices, received more contacts of advocacy from Lalate and the Purple Power than the number of signatures of the American petition. The American petition is at 2.9 million, so that means we're more than that at about 3 million. Everyone in Congress is amazed by the outpouring of touching stories from Lalate's viewers, and now they have more than what we have called just a bunch of signatures. Now they have a better understanding of how average Americans are trying to make it through the pandemic. They have your stories. They have heartbreaking stories, and they have the voice of the people across the nation that has become too loud to be ignored. Please continue your encouragement for the continued advocacy as the professional voice of the people you have become until this becomes law. That last sentence is a message from the chief of staff to me. The message from that chief of staff of that senator to me is, Lalate, please continue your encouragement for the continued advocacy of the professional voice of the people you have become until the recon becomes law. And there you go. We're just getting started. We got a lot coming up after the second half of this video. After the commercial break, we got student loan debt forgiveness, COLA, this stimulus, which will potentially have 4 lifts in it. We have the talk about maybe putting some items from 4th stimulus in the 5th stimulus, but maybe not. We have the ability of how to get the recon over the finish line by bringing it from $3.5 trillion into $2 trillion. I'm going to show you how they can do this. We have the potential deal in the works for Joe Manchin. A lot of great news, and it's all starting. Here's a little bit about the community page. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as an early mornings broadcast continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. And the excitement continues right now on an early mornings broadcast. We got the music, but we don't have any image. Well, you got me. Let's show some image. There we go. The $3.5 trillion recon. Passing with cluster number 1, 2, and 3. That'll pay about $15,000. But we're far from over with that because we got items being added in there. So how do they add those in there, and why are they making changes on the back end? How do they make the changes? I have the latest details of what they said late yesterday. This is all brand new this morning on Early Mornings LA. Then we'll be turning over to COLA. We'll be turning over to student loan debt forgiveness. We'll be turning over to 3rd stimulus. And we'll be showing you how you can go to this weekend with more money in your pocket, because this is what we do on this channel, moolah. And I'm going to show you how to get that moolah going into the weekend. It's a big early mornings broadcast because the toast is toasted, the butter is butter, and the coffee is brewing. And this is Early Mornings LA. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers on YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Like the video and become a member. Meantime, if you did not catch it, the 3 a.m. and the 3:30 a.m. shows now are about 4th stimulus as well. All our overnight shows from 6 o'clock all the way up to 4 a.m. this show are now about 4th stimulus. I'll have more about that later in this video. But let's turn to the big exciting details about student loan debt forgiveness. Student loan debt forgiveness got a big surprise this week as more debt was forgiven. Initially, the president forgave student loan debt for individuals who became disabled after graduation. All their debts wiped away. Then the president has now forgiven student loan debts for 2 other clusters of people. First, people who went to work in the nonprofit sector after graduation for 10 years. Your debts are gone now. Also, people who went to go work for local, state, or local, or federal government, your debts are now wiped away if you worked there for 10 years. Someone who became a public school teacher for 10 years. Someone who became a sanitation driver for 10 years. Yeah, all your student loan debts are now wiped away. Meantime, the president indicating he'll wipe away everyone else's student loan debts of up to $10,000. Legislators are trying to put more money in that as well, bring it to $50,000. We'll watch that all next week. Meantime, let's turn over to what's going on at the recon and the negotiations of it. A lot of quotes overnight: Pelosi, Jolopal, Bernie, and then we have the quotes from early in the week. Very, very fascinating. So Pelosi was like on fire. She was like on fire last night. I don't know what was going on. Maybe the ice cream was extra special or something. But, I just never seen Pelosi so revved up, and I love it. Pelosi basically said, we got to get this done. Central to the recon is getting this done. Because this recon will get done because it must get done. Then Alex Padilla, who is, of course, the senator here from California that replaced the vice president, he said, no climate, no deal. This is very fascinating because Pelosi also said no climate, no recon. Padilla said no climate, no recon. I love it. So they're playing a little bit of hardball, which I love from Pelosi. But what I also love is this fascinating report that basically says we can maybe get Manchin to sign on to the recon by changing some of the words of the climate so that the fossil fuel providers in his state would get big contract jobs. And if you know Joe Manchin, that's one of his big things. You look at his Twitter account, that's all he talks about is fossil fuels, and that is the big commerce in his state. I think this is going to work. I think it's going to work. That's just my sense at the moment. I think this is, whoever came up with this, it's brilliant. Meantime, are they removing certain seniors items from forced stimulus? Not anytime soon. There was a talk late yesterday that they would remove $350 billion for the recon, which is for seniors for dental, vision, hearing, the one that's in the third cluster. Remove it out and put it into this stimulus. Jolopal literally just lost it when she heard it. She said, that's not happening. She said, a lot of people have asked, isn't something better than nothing? And my answer, quite simply, this is Jolopal talking, is no. Because when it comes to doing something rather than nothing, it's the same people who are forced to settle for nothing over and over through their entire life. I love it. House Budget Chairman John Yarmuth, Democrat, said we may see them split up. And I don't think Medicare expansion advocate Bernie Sanders wants to do that. So, do I think that the potential to take all the money for seniors out of the recon, the money that's passed, not even the Bob Casey money that's not in there, the money that's passed, take it out of the recon, go into fiscal stimulus? I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to stay in there. And I think Bob Casey's money may go in there on top of that. Pelosi all this week said we're very close to getting this done. A few important decisions will be made in the next few days so that we can proceed, so that we're near finished. That comment was made by Pelosi on Tuesday. So it looks like things are getting very close. Bernie Sanders said the moderate Democrats need to tell us what they don't like, because I'm not going to negotiate against myself. We're prepared to negotiate, but we're not going to negotiate with ourselves, said Senate Budget Chairman Bernie Sanders. Why is he saying this? Because Sinema says, I don't like the prescription medication. Manchin says, I don't like some of this climate stuff. So good, fix it and get them on board, and we're done. And Hoyer says everyone has to work together. Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, who is of course a Democrat, says it's not just one person, it's everybody. Everyone needs to get on board. So how do they do this? How do they do this? The way they do this, besides fixing the climate language for Manchin and changing the prescription medication language for Sinema, is really just running the programs for 5 years. I mean, I'm going to make it very simple. Just run the programs for 5 years and we're done. And the recon's done like yesterday. How simple is this? I'll show you how simple it is. I'm making this video even simpler than it should be. I'm going to make it very simple for you. The president originally wanted programs to run many, many decades. Why? Because he wanted a lasting legacy after he's gone as president. And so Bernie went to the negotiations in the month of July to talk about a recon asking for $7 trillion. How long were the programs? At the time, I thought they maybe were 20 years. We now have confirmation that most of the programs that Bernie asked for were 20 years, because that's what Bernie wanted, the president wanted. And that's why it was $7 trillion. I had speculated over the last week and a half that Bernie got from 7 trillion to 3.5 trillion and a past recon procedural by bringing the programs from 20 years to 10 years. I didn't know it, but I was speculating. And I said, I feel that maybe he got from 20 to 10. We now have confirmation I was right. It actually was 10. That the current programs at 3.5 trillion are generally about 10 years. How do we know that? Jalapal tells us now. We would reduce the number of years. We would reduce the number of years because the universality of the benefits and the immediacy of the benefits are absolutely critical. And frankly, it's more important to us than having it for the entire 10 years. So what is she saying? You have a program. We need the program to pay out the full amount of money in this year, 2021. We need the program there, and we need the program paying out the full amount of money this year and paying out the full amount of money next year and the year after that. We don't need to worry about 10 years. Amen. I mean, we'd all say that. And the issue is getting you big sums of money this year, next year, the year after. We don't have to worry about 8 years from now. We just have to worry about the immediacy, and that's what Jalapal talks about. So how do you do it? Do 5 years. I mean, it's not that complicated. Do 5 years. You're at 20 years at 7 trillion. You're at 10 years at 3.5 trillion. You're at 5 years at 1.7 trillion. You change the climate. You change the prescription medication. You got Sinema. You got Manchin. You're done. I mean, what's so complicated here? It's not that complicated. Pelosi says of 2 ways to do this is to change the duration. Change the duration. Jalapal says we like changing duration. Bernie says I want to change the duration. Change the duration. All the programs would stay in at 100% of what's covered in this video. So yes, you would qualify for about $15,000. $4,000 for elder care, for example, would be in there, would not be removed, would not be reduced to 20 cents. It would be a full $4,000. It would just run 5 years approximately instead of 10 years. Doesn't make sense? It's so simple. I think that's why Pelosi has sort of gotten the good message. Let's do it by duration. Jalapal said she was happy Pelosi mentioned that. I think that they've run the numbers. You saw me cover this about a week ago, that Sheila Jackson, the number 2 in the Progressive Caucus, says they have federal employees. They're not elected officials. They're federal employees. They're just you and me. They just work for the federal government who are paid to run numbers, and they just run and crunch numbers all day long. And they can quickly tell you, you bring the programs to 5 years, the recon shrinks this quickly. And done. Just get Manchin and Sinema on board for climate and prescription. What are we doing? Very, very, very simple. So I think this is getting very, very exciting. I've not been this excited in a while. Now, let's turn over to this stimulus. This stimulus. I mean, this stimulus is just like the gift that keeps on giving. What's going on here? What's going on here is that Social Security Administration this week announced everyone's COLA benefits are going up an average of 5.8%. I was shocked when I heard the number because it was so high. It's exactly the number that we were looking at for this stimulus to give you based upon inflation as the benchmark. But since this stimulus is not yet law yet, we're still with COLA as the benchmark. And COLA has been a joke for many, many, many years. But because inflation is going so high, COLA is going up. And COLA will be at 5.8%. This is law. This is not something that's a bill. This is actually law. So in the next few weeks, your benefits, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, will go up 5.8%. Now, that's just to start. I know you hear in this video that Bob Casey wants to add money to a recon that already has money for seniors, and that there's all that coming in a fourth stimulus. But let me explain your benefits check, which is all about this stimulus. First, they're going to raise you up now under COLA 5.9%. Let's say you went from here, let me use my hand. We went from here to here for 5.9% under COLA in the next few weeks. If this stimulus comes around, let's say it gets for a vote after your benefits step up. Guess what happens next? Under this stimulus, they're going to raise everyone's benefits up one big time, a lifetime, on top of wherever you are. So you're going to go up again. That's a second step up in less than 1 year. You're going to go up again. This is you if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, or multiple beneficiaries. Then they're going to apply a new benchmark, and that new benchmark will be replacing COLA for the next year round. So by the end of next year, your benefits will go up based upon the new inflation rate next year, and that will be a third step up. Yeah, you'll get 3 raises of your benefits in the next year. The only way it wouldn't happen is if inflation is 0 next year, which is not going to happen. I mean, I don't see inflation being 0 next year. So this is huge. You would literally have 3 raises of your benefits within about a year under fifth stimulus. Then they're going to move the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. They're going to move the income cap dating back to the 1960s law that says you can't have more than that you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, they're going to move the marriage penalty. And love is going to win, and you'll be able to do a pair dance and no longer fear loss of benefits. Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer fear the marriage penalty. And there you go. That's fifth stimulus. Now, let's turn back to advocacy, with this incredible message coming in from that top chief of staff. I was about to say top 8. It's not top 8. It's chief of staff. Chief of staff, number 1 senator in the recon process. The chief of staff says advocacy needs to continue. Absolutely needs to continue. You see why things need to continue down to the finish line, because look what's going on. People are trying to battle to remove things out of the recon. People are trying to battle about changing durations. Everyone has something they want to add to the recon. It's just a battleground with a lot of things being proposed here and a lot of things being proposed there. You need to advocate. One viewer said, how many times a week should I call? As many times as you can call. Remember, advocacy involves telling your particular story, what's unique to yourself, your family, your community, your church, your family. All right, let's turn now to third stimulus. As you go into the weekend, have you got money for this channel? If you haven't, get that pen and paper ready, because I'm going to show you how to get money. If you have, I'm going to get you some more money. I'm going to show you how to get rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, food, clothing, small appliances, and other items starting right now. It's important to understand that this money is available for you right now, and I want you to get it, starting with the rent. I'm going to show you 6 places to reach out to. Reach out to all 6. They have different eligibility. They have different pots of money. Next, listen to the keywords I say in this video, and then get ready for the nonprofits. Here are the 6 places you reach out to for that rent. Your city hall, your city house authority. Your county hall, your county house authority. Your state hall, and your state house authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Rent or mortgage utility assistance because of COVID. How much money in rent? Let's look at Nisi, $20,000. Purple Hawk, all the way up to Elizabeth, $27,000. But the numbers are going higher across the board. Here's Prina, who I'm going to use as my example. Over the last week, I've been telling viewers who are viewers of this channel to read the Treasury statement from the newsletter. The Treasury statement says the additional $13 billion has been sent out to every state, red or blue, across the country for you for rent. Read that before you make the phone call, because the city or county is going to say, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, that's what Prina did. She read it before she called. She called City Austin, said, I know you got it. Give me some of that money. They said, yeah, we got it. You got it. You found us. We got it. And within 5 days, last week, she started the week at 0. She ended the week with $6,000 because of this channel, 8 months of rent into next year. So make that call after you read that statement from Treasury. Next, reach out to utility companies. If you got 5, reach out to 5. Mark and Nancy and Angela, there you were a month ago. But now Mark's brother-in-law, $15,000. SNAP, get SNAP. SNAP is money for food. You get it from the Department of Agriculture. Eligibility is easier than a stimulus check. How much does it pay? A lot. Mark's brother-in-law is now getting $26,000 annualized. Why so much? Because everyone's benefits are going up an average of 25% lifetime automatically nationwide starting this month. Get multiple sums of money. Get as many items as you can. Here are people who got multiple sums of money. $32,000. Mark, $50,000. Lorraine got $100,000. Next, get ready for those nonprofits. Got that pen, paper, cell phone still ready? Let's go over those 5 nonprofits. I'm going to show you 5 nonprofits that solve eligibility issues. Why? If you have really reached out to all 6 of the places I just went over, and all 6 said no because of eligibility, then reach out to the 5 nonprofits. You'll have 11 phone calls to make, and those 5 nonprofits have totally different eligibility because they're not the federal government. They pay for the same items generally under third stimulus, but with different eligibility. Here are the 5 nonprofits. United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul. I've been doing this for a while, now over a year, and I saw it in the beginning, I'm still seeing it now. My neighbor's brother's hairdresser's sister's lover's hair groomer says that there's no money in our city. so I'm not making the phone call. Okay, well, don't make the phone call. But make it if you hear the recording, because it's not 6 places you're going to call. It's 11 if you think you have an eligibility problem. And one is going to say yes of those. Maybe the very first phone call is going to be yes. It's also important to understand that the nonprofits pay for items that are not in the third stimulus, which are absolutely wonderful. They often pay for homeless people into shelters, money for clothing. Also, sometimes small appliances. Viewers for this channel have gotten refrigerators, small furnaces, small portable heaters, small windows fixed that are broken. The nonprofits are very good at making sure you're safe, warm, and cool and clothed wherever you are. That's sort of their dedication to you. So if that is an issue for you, reach out to the nonprofits. Here they are again: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. Also, Salvation Army is helping with holiday gifts now, so reach out to them in October. It's important to remember that all these nonprofits have fast turnaround times now because it's not particularly winter yet. So St. Vincent de Paul and United Way, fast turnaround times for money for rent. Next, the unemployment benefits from their state, yes. Due to overpayment, computer error, yes. Average payment is $2,000 to $5,000. Reach out to your state for it. Then the refund check from 2020 of the unemployment benefits you pay taxes on. Average payment is $1,200 to $2,000. Margaret got it, Cod got it. Watch it at irs.gov, and you can track it there 70% of the time. Finally, if you haven't become a member, what are you doing? The link is under the video. Members are delivered daily from me to you at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday, the Lalate newsletter. It features all the big money under first, second, and third stimulus, and stuff now proposed for fourth and fifth stimulus. Fourth stimulus will generally pay the viewers of this channel about $15,000 just to start before we get to these add-ons across the board. People have been asking, how do I get this item? How do I get that item? Not law yet, but when it's law, I'm going to show you how to get the item. In third stimulus, when it became law, I immediately said I can get you this money. It's about $15,000 on the third stimulus. Average viewer of this channel has gotten about $40,000 from third stimulus. There is a lot of money in third stimulus and still paying. So there is no place on the planet, on the earth, on YouTube, anywhere where someone is focusing every single recording every single day for 365 days. Well, now it's 500 days because it's been over a year and a half, focusing on getting you money. I'm literally recording morning, noon, and night, focusing on getting you money because the money's there. The money's there. People don't tell you the money's there. People don't show you where the money is. People don't help you find the money. People just don't even report that the money is there. They don't cover it, and you don't know it, but this money's there. You should not be struggling. You should not be a homeless person looking for shelter. You should not be a person who can't have a furnace or portable heater. You should not be a person who doesn't have holiday gifts. This money is here. This money is available for you. I have the mechanism to deliver you the information. All you have to do is make the phone call. Meantime, I want you to understand that you have to make more than one phone call. You need to make as many phone calls as you're able to do. And that is exemplified by Johnny. It was several weeks ago. We had 3 viewers who started the week at $0. By the middle of the week, 3 of them got $40,000. How many items had they gotten? About $40,000? About 3 items. One of them was Johnny. By the weekend, Johnny continued. He got $80,000 in 1 week from this channel. From how many items? 7 different items at 7 different places, which means he didn't make 7 phone calls. He clearly made 10 phone calls, 12 phone calls. But look, I mean, he got 7 items. So it wasn't one phone call and he just sort of called it a day. Mark got $51,000 from 4 or 5 items. Lorraine, I have no idea how many items Lorraine got. I think she's like at 9 items, 10. She has a lot of items. Margaret, I love her to death. She's in all the live chats. Every week she finds another $250, $200, $300, $400, $500 from this item, that item. She's always finding an additional item. You need to make the phone call. All I can do is give you the encouragement and the information, show you where it is. And if you make the phone call, that money is there for you. You are eligible for this money. You are eligible. I've been doing this for a while, and trust me, in the thick of the hardest time when there was very little money in the fall of 2020, there were people in the hardest states and they said there was no money. This is not that situation. Every state, every nonprofit, there is money for you to get. It's available now. Reach out and get that money right now when it's available before the winter months kick in. Meantime, continue your advocacy. Today is going to be a big day. This weekend's going to be a big weekend. Stay with me all weekend long. Please do not disappear to Monday. because guess what? It's just too much to catch up on. There's too much for you to catch up on across the board. We have all these strange nuances of things going in and out of the recon, and I always fear that you may not hear a new provision being proposed to be added to the recon or actually into the recon, and that I don't repeat it in a new broadcast come Monday or Tuesday, and then you totally miss something that you're eligible for. So don't miss a recording, because you may miss something you're eligible for across this recon, or money from third stimulus. And with that, join me next on Morning's Countdown, which is at 7 a.m. Of course, Overnight's Crypto currently playing on the channel, live on air. This video is going to take you to Overnight's Crypto, currently playing. Enjoy that show. It is very informative, and it's for beginners all the way to advanced. Then I'm back with Morning's Countdown at 7 a.m. and Morning's LA at 9 a.m. live on air. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want your brother's family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.